Alright guys, Gene Wells here, Unit 10, Day 1, talking about functions or not a function. Number 1, we have a list of numbers here, list of coordinates. We have 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, negative 2, 3, 1, and 5, negative 2. Our goal here is to tell whether or not this list of coordinates is a function. And the first thing we look for is there an x value that is repeating, and is that x value going to a different y value, or is it paired with a different y value? I can clearly see that 3 is being paired with negative 2, and then 3 is being paired with 1. That tells me no, this is not a function, because, and I would say 3 is paired with 2 different y values. I'm using some shorthand here, that's alright, 2 y values. Because 2 is not, or the 3 is not allowed to go to negative 2 and to 1. Number 2, here we have a table instead of a list of coordinates. Same concept. We have 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, negative 4, 1. I would say that yes, this is a function because there's no, first of all, there's no repeating x values. Each x value has its own y value. And sometimes you might hear the word input, output here instead. So you might see the word input and output. It's the same thing as x and y. So yes, this is a function. And the reason will be yes, because each input has its own output. Number 6, now it's a graph instead of a line, instead of a table, and we're looking to see if it passes this. We call it the vertical line test. And if I can draw a vertical line and only touch the actual graph once, see, it only touches it once there. I'll try again. Just a little test. It only touches it once there. If it only touches the graph one time, it is a function, because each x value has its own y value. But down here on number 7, if I tried that vertical line test, notice I'm touching this little oval twice, because let's pretend these coordinates for that little oval is like negative 5, 1. That could be this one up here, and then the one down here will be negative 5, negative 1, and you can see what, cover the video up, you can see what happened. The negative 5 is paired with a 1, and then negative 5 is paired with a negative 1, so our x value is paired with 2 different y values. So it fails the vertical line test, but also it's not a function because we have an input paired with 2 different outputs.
Alright guys, so just to confirm, alright guys, so for the last set of questions, what we need to determine is whether or not these functions are linear or nonlinear. And if you can remember from our linear equations unit, let the formula for a line is y equals mx plus b. Okay? And so what I'm looking for is a line that fits that criteria, that kind of equation. Alright, and there's 3 kind of hints or 3 kind of like examples of things that are nonlinear. So taking a look at practice problem number 8, here we have y equals x cubed plus 6. As soon as I see x cubed, I see that variable is being raised to a power, I know automatically that's not going to be a straight line. That's not going to be a straight line. So this is going to be nonlinear. This is going to be nonlinear. When it comes to practice problem number 10, we can see that our x value is in a denominator. And whenever the x value is a denominator, there again, it's not going to be a straight line. So here, it's going to be nonlinear. Okay? And then for practice problem number 9, alright, does that fit into the y equals mx plus b format? Do I have a y? Do I have an m? Is there an x and a b? Yes, it is, so that would be linear. The x is on its own, it's not being raised to a power, it's not a denominator, so it would be considered linear. And then finally for number 11, you can see this little squiggly thing. We call that, it's actually, for this one, it's a cubed root. But whenever that variable, whenever that x is being rooted by, either a cubed root or whatever, we would consider that nonlinear. All right, so just to recap, the 3 things that you might see that might classify it as nonlinear is if the x is being raised to some kind of exponent, when it is a denominator, or if it is being rooted by either a square root or a cubed root. All right. Otherwise, more than likely, it's going to be a linear equation with the y equals mx plus b format.